is James decided not to come to the press conference. You have any idea what's up with that?
I have no idea. It seems weird that you would miss the final press conference of the year.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Talk about this battle that you guys have had. It has been up and down, and every time it seems like someone has the upper hand, the other rider comes back. It's been an amazing season for us to watch. What is it like being in that, though, week after week?
It's been fun. Unfortunately, I've been on the worst end of the stick a lot of the time. But, you know, through it all, I've never ever gave up, and that's what I'm proud of. You know, I'm here because every weekend, no matter the situation, I gave it all I got and put myself in great positions. And, you know, I feel like I should have won a lot more races this year, but, you know, it's good to be here in Vegas and still have a shot at it. And it's a good shot, I believe. You know, I think I can pull this thing off, and I'm going to give it everything I got. And, you know, just like every other year, you know, don't ever count me out, because, you know, I'm definitely out there to give it my all, and I'll never, you know, never lay down.
Yeah, you mentioned all the way back in Anaheim 1, the battle versus the war. You see the whole big picture week in and week out. Has that been in the back of your mind the whole season, not taking each race individually, but looking at the series as a whole to get to this point?
I mean, my results were my best in that given weekend. You know, I think, you know, sure, you'd love to sit here and say I had the points lead majority of the season, and I just sat there and waited for a mistake, but that's not how it was. You know, I gave it everything I had. James was riding really, really well. You know, the situations, I had a pretty tough year. You know, I struggled along the way with some things, and I feel like last weekend, you know, proved that I had made some, you know, big strides in the right direction. So it's coming down to the last race, and you know, definitely it's heated. It's exciting. I'm having fun with it, to be honest. I think I'm in a great position. Every other time that I've been in this position, I've been kind of the leader, and this is cool. You know, 6 points down. I got nothing to lose. You know, pretty much NASCAR turns checkers or wreckers, and just have fun.
Were we going to see checkers or wreckers in those last couple of laps last week? Was that the position you had put yourself into, and would we have seen that last week if you had the opportunity?
I mean, there's always ifs and ifs or buts, but I truly believe I was in a great position. You know, 5 laps to go. I was feeling really, really good, strong. It was a track that was a little easier to actually follow than it was to lead. With the mud and the way the track turned out, you left a lot of insides open. And I took one of those one time, and it turned out pretty good. So, you know, I kind of knew my position and where I was. So it was a shame to give up a little time to James, you know, 15 laps in.
Well, we've all seen the replays over and over and over the last 6 days. What's your interpretation of what happened with Kyle Chisholm last week? I think you've been asked this question a couple times.
Yeah, and I guess I'm just going to take my road. I've always tried to be honest with you guys and tell you my side of the story and what I feel. I mean, who can deny that it wasn't intentional? You know, I think you watch the video, it's quite obvious his line, his position being a lap down, and the obvious of being James's teammate. It was a shame. You know, I don't believe that Kyle's a bad person or anything like that. You know, I've heard that he's a great guy. I don't know him personally, but it seems that he's a good person, and it seems weird that a good person would go do that. So it's a shame, and it's all water under the bridge, and you live and learn. I think there's a paper trail a mile long of, you know, what people, you know, should I say his boss has done along the way. You know, I think through the years we can all find little things that he's done. You know, one that stands out most is, you know, sitting Boniface out of a race because he wouldn't help somebody and taking his rear wheel out of the bike. So I think I find it quite amusing, quite funny, and each and every one of these people sitting in this room, I believe, know the real truth and what really happened. Whether they write that or not, I don't think everyone has to be political.
Now, you said last week that you have a teammate out here as well. Has there been any talks about how to play that? Because I believe Kyle Chisholm will not be racing this weekend, so James will be racing on his own. You do have a teammate. What happens there?
I mean, Mike's having a great year. He's having, you know, his best ever 450 Supercross season. He's coming off a week that was a rough one for him. He didn't qualify, so Mike's his own person, you know. He's going to go and get good starts, and hopefully he's in the main event. But there's been no team talks. I went back to Florida this week, and we don't roll like that, you know. I think I said it in my Racer X interview last week. I'm truly blessed with what you know, my way everything turned out this year. You know, me going to the Rockstar Makita Suzuki, working with Roger and the team. I've really learned a lot from him and become a better person, and that's what I'm most proud of. You know, win or lose this championship, I feel that I'm better, and I'm happy about that.
I do want to ask, you were going against that team a couple of years ago. You were tied in points, and Ivan Tedesco was a teammate of Ricky Carmichael, and it wasn't anything dirty, but he did try to make life a little bit more difficult on you. But is that a little bit different incident than what we're talking about from last week?
You know, I think, you know, I'll take 100% the heat. You know, with the Ivan thing, I was heated. I felt that I was better than what I was performing, and I was racing for position on the lead lap. And same with Shorty last year. You know, I somewhat felt my walls coming in. I was hurt. I didn't want to be hurt, and I felt that I was good enough to win races, and it was a tough position to be in. Can't even say that, but I had people around me saying things, you know, they were in my head, and I think the situation was, you know, made out worse than really was. So, you know, I think I made dumb choices and felt that I was hard done by, but, you know, at the end of the day, when you calm down and think about it, you know, I think I was racing for the lead lap for podium position. At that time, it was Shorty's best position, you know, best 450 main event finish, and so yeah, you live and learn.
Okay. Questions from the press for Chad Reed, our defending series champ.
Jeff Wolf with the Las Vegas Review Journal. Chad, I want to thank you and the other riders for showing our readers respect by showing up today, and it's a shame that not every pro athlete feels that way. By James not being here, you kind of had a smile. I mean, what's the deal? I mean, could you imagine not showing up in a situation like this? I mean, you in his head that much now, or is he hungover? I mean, what would keep somebody from not showing up to this? It's the biggest race of the year.
I mean, gosh, a few weeks I tried to strangle him, I think, and I think you're very influenced from the people around you, and I'll leave it at that.
Jim Ollie, Supercross Live. Chad, are you looking forward to 010? Are you going to be back?
I would like to think so. I've had a blast this year. It's a shame it's all coming to an end. This is the last race, and I'm kind of disappointed about it. I feel like I got a lot more racing in me, so we'll see. Tomorrow night, Sunday night, I'm going to go back to Oz and regroup and see what happens from there.
Steve Cox, Racer X. You talked about being a better person with your team, and just a couple questions ago you basically admitted that you were wrong in the way you handled a couple things in the past. Is that part of the growing process and part of what's come along with switching teams and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I think along the way, you know, we all do things we're less than proud of, and definitely, you know, my past years of, you know, not being stellar, and it showed. You know, I wasn't happy as a person, and it showed on the racetrack.
You ride with such emotion. Oh, we got a question back there. Sorry.
Steve Mathis. Hey, Reedy, with everything that went down last week, how was your week at home? Extra incentive, harder working, anything change from your normal deal?
My week was normal. I took Monday off, rode my jet ski, you know, rode Tuesday, Wednesday, had fun, had a good week. It wasn't the funnest of weeks. I left my track dry, and that sucks to ride. But other than that, it was fun. You know, I every day I go ride, I'd put my motors in and get it done and get out of my gear, take a shower, and go spend about an hour in my rally car. So it's just a normal week for me. Had fun, scared the shit out of Jason Thomas, and it was fun.
Steve Giverson, Vital MX. there's been a lot of talk about teammates out there. Are there any allies that you're looking for or hoping for help from anyone?
I mean, I want to win this championship, and you know, I feel that I have, you know, the best chance out of anybody on the track to show the outcome of the end result. And so, you know, I'm gonna go in and give it my all. I'm gonna race James Stewart the way he has raced me and everybody else since 2002. So I look forward to the race. I'm gonna have fun and give it my all. I think what happens beyond that is 100% out of my hands. You know, I think a lot of people watched last week's race and were, you know, a little disappointed. So if people take things into their own hands, that's beyond anything that I can control.
Chad, Rupert X, AMA, Supercross.com. Backing things up to Jacksonville as the two-part question here. As you came off the track, you know, you had a few words with James. Can you say what you said to him then? And also up on the podium, things were as tension-filled as they've ever been on a podium in Supercross. How close were you guys coming to blows at that time?
I mean, coming to blows, you got to have somebody that's willing to throw down too. So, and you know, so I don't think we were that close to getting ready to throw down. But you know, I grew up as a normal kid. I went to a primary school and a regular school. I got on a bus and wore a uniform and everything like that. So I grew up in a playground. Not like most of these motocross kids that are homeschooled, but I don't know. I had fun with it, and I was heated, but for good reasons, I believe. You know, when we landed on the triple, you know, none of the racing was I ever mad. You know, I don't think that any of it was dirty, other than the fact that when we landed on the landing at the triple, he just cut, you know, right across in front of me, and I felt that was, you know, uncalled for and really dangerous on his behalf, because not only did I almost crash, he did as well. So I should have just kept the throttle pinned and let him land on his melon. He probably would have knocked himself out, but who knows?
Okay. Ralph?
Ralph Shaheen, Speed. Chad, it's rare that momentum shifts without a win, but it sure feels like the momentum has shifted this week over to you. It feels like the fan base has shifted. Kind of funny feeling we're going to hear some different things out of the crowd tomorrow night. That's going to show a shift that way. How do you internalize all of that? Are you the kind of guy that feeds off of things like that? Do you keep it into yourself? Do you churn it over and over? Or do you feed off of that emotion of that momentum change?
I mean, I think you're right in many ways, but you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to, you know, giving it your all in a 20-lap race, and you know, there's no doubt in my mind that James is going to come out swinging and be ready to go tomorrow night. But you know, I think the situation, I really believe I was in a good position last week with 5 laps to go. That's the bummer, you know, to not know. But then again, there was 5 laps and I had my shot at it, and I wasn't able to, you know, catch back up and have another go. So, you know, you've only got yourself to blame at the end of the day. And you know, what happens tomorrow night is, I'm sure it's all going to be exciting and fun, you know, both from a fan aspect and a rider's point of view. You know, I got a lot of people here to support me from home and you know, from all the people that I've met and associate with here in the U.S. And I think it's been a long, hard-fought season. And like I said, I've truly had a lot of fun. And not at all does it feel like it's the last race. I feel like I'm really entering the first race. I have a lot of fight left and a lot of racing left in me, I feel, this year. So I'm going to go out and give it all I got, knowing that this is my last chance. And you know, not to leave anything on the table.
Throughout all your years in Supercross, when you win, it's ecstatic. When you lose, you leave your heart and soul on the track, and we can see how hard you try. And this year has had as much emotion as any year that we've seen, and there's been some emotional moments in years past. How emotional has this season been for you? How much of a roller coaster has it been? Or have you been able to be on an even keel throughout a lot of the drama that's taken place this year?
Yeah, I think, you know, like I said, it's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot. This title has a hell of a lot more riding on it than just that red background at number one. There's a lot of pride involved, and there's a lot of, I would call it hatred, you know, just of what happened last year and the situation that it's left in still to this day. There's nothing more that I want to do than to stand on that podium tomorrow night and be the champion. So I will do everything in my power to try and make that happen.